Good morning and welcome to your Wednesday reading session for this week. And this session, we're going to look at our vocabulary from the two extracts. So it's quite challenging because we're having to look across two pieces of text. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So, favourite session of the week for me this week, because the more words you know, and it's written here, the more the words that you come across in life, the cleverer you will be and the better your writing will be. So let's expand our knowledge of words. Here we go. So from extract 1, I have chosen the words merely, allotted, retire. And from the second extract from yesterday, I've chosen strewn, piteous or piteously, because both words are used, and permit. So I'm just going to show you how you would go about unpicking the word strewn. So I really love this word, so I've chosen to do this one first. So here is the second extract from yesterday, and I have just highlighted the words we're going to use, and we're looking at this word strewn. Now, what we would encourage you to do, and we do this in our reading lessons, is to not use a dictionary if possible. Now, the reason for this is so you can have a good go by yourself using your own brain at figuring out what strewn might mean. If you just use a dictionary straight away, then you're not actually thinking hard enough. Okay, so it's about having to go on your own first, and then by all means, you can check if you were correct by looking in the dictionary or by looking online. So let's read around the word. There was nothing in sight save the ocean, dotted with ice. So all this person can see at the minute is nothing but the ocean, and it's painted a picture in my head that the ocean is dotted with ice everywhere and strewn with large masses of wreckage. Now, I know that wreckage means when a boat or a ship or something gets destroyed and it leaves little bits of wreckage everywhere, perhaps bits of wood. So in my head, okay, the Titanic is being destroyed, it's currently sinking, and on top of the water are little bits of the boat floating everywhere. So let's read it again. The ocean is strewn with large masses of wreckage. So perhaps the word strewn means that it is covered. The ocean's covered with large pieces of wreckage. Okay, so I'm going to show you now on the template that we use in our reading lessons how you would go about unpicking the word strewn. So here you would write your word, and then the next bit is define it in your own words. So like I said, try not to use a dictionary at first. See if you can have a go at explaining it in your own words. So I'm going to say that strewn is when something is, rather than saying covered, I might use the word scattered. And it's not just maybe placed perfectly, maybe scattered randomly, because no one can control where that wreckage was placed on the top of the ocean. So I think if something is strewn, it's when something is scattered or covered over a surface randomly, perhaps. Okay, example in the text. So this part, as we always do, we're going to go back to the text, and all you would do is copy down the full sentence or perhaps part of the sentence that uses the word strewn. So example in the text, it'll be something, 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 dotted with ice and strewn with large masses of wreckage. Now I'm actually going to highlight the word strewn just so I can check and just so I know that I have used strewn and found it in the text. Now that will obviously help you in tests. It's quite a good test skill to learn because you are scanning the text to find the word as quickly as you can. Next part, use it in your own sentence. So this is where you need to think of a sentence that might be nothing to do with the Titanic, where you can use the word strewn. And try and push yourself. Maybe you want to do more than one sentence. Try and maybe get a good sentence opener in there, or use a range of conjunctions, or see if you can use an embedded clause or a pair of brackets, okay? So try and be as creative as you can with this. So I'm just going to think of something off the top of my head. So, to my disgust, comma, litter was strewn. How was it strewn? It was strewn untidily. Whereabouts? In the park. Full stop. And again, my top tip would be highlight the word strewn, just so you know that you've used it. Okay? So I'll just reread that. To my disgust, I'm disgusted at the state of the park. Litter was strewn untidily in the park. Brilliant. So like I said, try and make it interesting. Try and make it a year 6 sentence. And you can obviously do more than one example if you like. Okay, synonyms. Now we know that synonyms are the words which mean the same as strewn. So we've already mentioned covered and scattered. So this is where you might want to have a discussion with your family or friends, and then by all means afterwards you can check in a thesaurus. Let's have a think. Let's use the sentence that I use. What about littered? It was covered everywhere. It was scattered everywhere. Imagine something was littered everywhere. Spread everywhere. With a really nice word here, dispersed. If something's dispersed everywhere, when seeds are dispersed in the field, they're spread out. That would also work quite nicely. And the last one for now is your antonyms, which means, as we know, the opposite of the word. So what is the opposite of strewn and covered and scattered and spread out? So maybe tidy, and the opposite of spreading something out would be to gather something in. Okay? So that is my example. Now, like I said, if you want to, once you've done this, you can check your work and add to it by looking in a dictionary and thesaurus, or going on the internet and researching the word. So that's what I've done for you here. So as you can see, I've popped some pictures on there so you can visually see different examples of things that are strewn. So you've got litter and plastic on a beach, unfortunately. You've got jigsaw pieces scattered across a table. And then here, linking to the Titanic, you've got the ice strewn across the surface of the ocean. And you've got a wreckage here, just so you know what a wreckage looks like. So strewn can be used in 2 different ways. If you look on the left-hand side, you've got an adjective, which is a describing word, as we know. So it's describing something that is untidily scattered, like we've said. So for example, the strewn flower petals. Okay, so the flower petals are being described as strewn. The strewn pink flower petals. Okay, to make it an expanded noun phrase, just to push you a little bit further. Okay, however, you can also use the word strewn or strew as a verb. Again, very similar, so it means to scatter or to spread things over a surface or an area. Okay, so an example here was a small room with newspapers strewn all over the floor. So it's describing what the newspapers are doing, because it's a doing word, and the newspapers are strewn all over the floor. Okay, so we'll go back to my example. You can then add, if you want to, if you've used strewn as an adjective or as a verb. So let's have a look. Litter was strewn. So I've used it as a verb in this sentence because I'm describing what the litter is doing. Okay, so that's something extra for you to look at if you like. Okay, here. Right, so something else thought you might quite like to do. If you fancy something a little bit extra, I've added in a new term here, etymology. Now, etymology basically just means where did the word come from? Where did it first originate from? And how has it changed over time? So it's a great way for you guys to improve your spelling of the word and to remember how it looks and how it's spelt. And also it helps with your pronunciation of the words, so how you actually say it. So this you will need the internet for. And I just went on the internet and I found a website and I looked up the word strewn and strew came up, and in Old English here it says it just means to scatter. Now I thought this was quite interesting. Okay, so it's how often the word strewn was mentioned. So back in the 1800s, look, it seems to be mentioned quite a lot, and as the years have gone on, it has dwindled and we don't use the word as much nowadays, okay, which is why I've chosen it, because it's a word that you might not come across all the time, okay, so it's good to know. So going back to your template, we've looked at all these down the left hand side. I've added etymology on there, okay, it's just something for you to research. Don't worry too much about it, it's just something fun that I thought you could do just to see where the word has come from. And don't forget as well, if you like, you can draw your word. So for strewn, I could have drawn any of those pictures here. Or if you want, and you're doing things on your laptop or your computer at home, you can add a picture from the internet. Don't forget that not all the words will have a picture with it. Okay, it's just for the words that this applies to. So here you go. They're your words from extract 1, and they're your words from extract 2. Challenge yourself to do all 6 words. If you want to do a couple, that is fine. Okay? So have fun with that. The teachers will really, really, really love to see any of your vocab work via Twitter, or if you could email any of your work to us, that would be great. And yeah, use your science books and have fun with it. And I will see you again tomorrow for your Vipers questions. Okay, and good luck.